Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the season review from our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode Season 4. Now obviously if you guys have missed out on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that went live earlier on today, what on earth are you doing here? Go back and check that video out. There will of course be spoilers in this video now obviously when I reveal the screen to you guys around about now. So, leaving Season 4 then, obviously, 3-time Formula 1 World Champion. Thank you very much. Very, very happy with that. And it's probably been, yeah, I'd say one of the weirdest seasons I think we've ever had on F1 2020 so far. You know, sort of, Season 1 was a brilliant start. We got a load of standout results that really sort of elevated us up towards the front of the field. If you have a look back, we were able to finish 6th place, splitting the Red Bulls at the end of that season there with 2 fastest laps, race victory and another podium there. Season 2 was sort of the build-up, you know. Once we got to sort of Monaco, Azerbaijan, we were then absolutely flying and obviously able to take the title away from Valtteri Bottas in the dying stages of that World Championship there to end up winning actually by 32 points at the end of the season. Season 3 was the 212 Motorsport show. 469 points. George Russell on 432 points. Lewis Hamilton in third. 191 there. There was a brilliant battle going on for the battle for best of the rest there between Hamilton and Max Verstappen there, as well as Valtteri Bottas, who just missed out in the end. And Season 4 was a much more consistent showing from us. You know, over the course of the entire season, 375 points, 5 wins to Lewis Hamilton's 9 come the end of the season, though. I was really actually surprised. Obviously, before we went into the final round of the season, obviously I was doing the maths, doing the count back, everything like that. And yeah, Hamilton, 9 wins over the course of the World Championship. Remember, it took me all the way to Canada, round 9 of the season, before we even got our first win on the board. But the thing that won it for me this year was just pure consistency, plain and simple there. We had, obviously, that DNF at Singapore, a 7th place at Monaco after the DRS failing on us, 2 6th places at the Netherlands and Japan. Apart from that, every other race we finished on the podium over the entirety of the season there. Sorry, a 7th place as well, I've just noticed, at the Italian Grand Prix, obviously, with badly timed safety cars and penalties, and that race was just carnage as well there. But yeah, every other race, 17 podiums over the entirety of the season there. Yeah, 2 7th places, 2 6th places, and a DNF. 17 podiums over the course of a 22 race season there. And when you consider the fact that throughout a lot of the season, we didn't have the fastest car, you know, really I'd only say sort of from Azerbaijan onwards, obviously, where we got that sort of breakthrough 1-2 result. From then on, yeah, this car just seemed to have a little bit more than the Mercedes and the Red Bull in a race pace there between then and the end of the season there. I mean, yeah, Mercedes, they did take 2 more wins, courtesy of George Russell, in Japan and Abu Dhabi right at the end of the season there. But Bottas, considering he was meant to be a big title threat throughout the entirety of the season, had a really good run sort of from Vietnam to Monaco. To even China, I should say, from Monaco. 2 wins and 4 podiums. And then after that, had a few more 2nd places, a 3rd place at Japan, and that was really it for Valtteri Bottas come towards the end of the season there. And obviously, I'm sure gutted to finish off the year with a DNF. Now, honestly as well, only 20 points separate myself and Lewis Hamilton, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the smallest World Championship winning margin that we've had in this series. Obviously, you can see back to Season 1, Hamilton winning the World Championship by just 3 points over his teammate Valtteri Bottas remains still the closest title that we've had on F1 2020. Obviously, if you remember how that titanic duel come the end of the season there. Obviously, Hamilton only led after the final race of the season there. But yeah, you can see, though, obviously, 20 points in the end. Heading into Abu Dhabi, I thought that it was going to come down to fastest lap points. Obviously, we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 fastest lap points over the entirety of the year there to Hamilton's 4. So, obviously, it would have brought the title gap down to just 9 points come the end of the season. But yeah, luckily for us, we did do enough anyway, despite those fastest lap bonus points as well at the end of the day there. But yeah, having a bit of a look, though, down the rest of the field, though. Obviously, Mercedes, once again, a whole lot closer to ourselves come the end of Season 4 there. You know, Bottas up in P3, 283 points, a lot better than either Mercedes was able to score in the year beforehand there. Able to pick up 5 race victories over the course of the championship campaign in comparison to their 1 in Season 3. That was just due to the domination of our car there. And yeah, Bottas, once again, sort of firmly solidifying himself as probably the 2nd best driver on the grid at the moment there. I'll be honest, based on sort of general logic and maths, we do come out on top at the moment there. But yeah, Bottas very, very quick. Maybe if we do end up doing a Season 6, I will have to bring Bottas onto the team there, because yeah, he has been absolutely phenomenal on F1 2020 there. He only took 2 race victories though to George Russell's 3, but George Russell had so many races over the course of the year there were either just bad timing of safety cars, awful Mercedes strategy, or reliability really did cost him there. You can see in the final, 5-6 races, he either won or didn't score points. Simple as a 15th, 2 12 places in the DNF, as well as 2 wins. Really does go to show how George Russell's season probably, summed it up rather perfectly there. For me, though, I think one of the biggest disappointments over the course of the campaign, and I know I've spoke about this a few times, was just the downfall of Red Bull. 3 wins in the first 6 races, and then 4 more podiums over the course of the entire year. What on earth happened to Red Bull? Just as we seem to get our footing in, try and work out where we were, Mercedes seemed to get a little bit quicker as well. Red Bull just nosedived in terms of performance there. I mean, they got a podium at Monaco. Daniel Ricciardo got a 2nd place in Azerbaijan, and then a 2nd place in Singapore due to, obviously, interesting circumstances. And then Alexander Albon used a really good one-stop strategy to get himself a 3rd place in the US Grand Prix as well. But yeah, really, from Spain onwards, Red Bull were not a team battling at the top of the standings there. One of the standout performers, though, I think it can be said as well, is Pierre Gasly. If you have a look at his run of form, really from he hadn't scored points until the Canadian Grand Prix. Got a 7th place there, and only missed out on points once after that, and that was a mechanical DNF at the Mexican Grand Prix later on in the season there. A 3rd place to really round it out was, a fantastic result for him. I mean, a 4th, 3 5th places in a row, another 4th at Italy as well, another 5th at Hungary. He was just picking up so many good points right towards the end of the year there. Obviously, he was able to comfortably finish as best of the midfield there ahead of Carlos Sainz in sort of a slowly rebuilding stage still for McLaren there. 1 podium for Carlos, a couple of 4th places as well there, and a single DNF actually at the Belgian Grand Prix. Yeah, pretty decent season for the Spaniard as well there. And the other big disappointment must have been Ferrari as well. Obviously, after a bit of a mixed season 3, still 4th place. They were the first team to actually stop us with our dominant streak there, with obviously Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Yeah, season 4, obviously, with the patches and things like that, a really big disappointment for Ferrari there. Max Verstappen had so many good qualifying runs towards the end of the year there, but you can see he was rarely able to convert it into decent points there. 2 podiums over the course of the entire season there, and that was even better than Charles Leclerc, who had a best result of 5th place throughout the entirety of his campaign there. Yeah, I'm sure very, very gutted with that one there. Lando Norris, again, another quiet season there, finished pretty often inside the top 10. He was there or thereabouts, actually finished every single Grand Prix of the entire season, which I don't think many other drivers can claim, having a look through. Was Lando Norris the only man to finish every race? No. Perez did. Kvyat did just behind him, as well as Lance Stroll there, so we had a lot of guys sort of in the lower midfield there that were always finishing Grand Prix. I think those 4 were the only ones, though, to finish every race this season. So Racing Point, the only team to get every car that they ran this season to the checkered flag there. That is quite incredible going by those guys as well there. Kvyat as well, a bit underrated, but I mean, yeah, he just seemed to find himself behind Gasly pretty much every weekend. In qualifying pace, he was very good, actually, in quite a few Grand Prix there. But yeah, just seemed to finish behind Gasly, and that gap just kept getting open up week in, week out there. And Stroll, yeah, another sort of very, very quiet season there. Scored points on a few occasions, had a couple of really decent results. 5th in Canada and then 6th in Belgium as well. But yeah, apart from that, just sort of tend to find himself just on the wrong side of a top 10 finish there as well. And I think, yeah, one of the biggest disappointments for me over the course of the entire season must have been Kimi Raikkonen there. 4 points to Esteban Ocon's 30 come the end of the season there. Raikkonen, again, seemed to be one of those drivers that always seemed to find himself the wrong side of points there. 2 ninth places in Spain and Hungary there, and you can see a few 11ths, a 22nd at the Russian Grand Prix there, but, sort of 12th to 15th, 16th, 17th a lot of the time as well there. But I think, yeah, one of the feel-good stories for me over the course of the year, Williams finally scoring their first points in this career mode. They're in 9th place at the Italian Grand Prix. It came in lucky circumstances, but that's what Williams need at the end of the day. And, sometimes towards the end of the season, I did notice their qualifying performance was a bit better than the Haas and the Alfa Romeos there, but still just lacking anything in terms of forward momentum at the moment. Hopefully, we can see a bit of a resurgence from those guys as well. Nick de Vries, Jordan King, and Nobuharu Matsushita are obviously the 3 guys that have been promoted from F2 as well. There you can see in 19th, 20th and 21st. A very, very quiet campaign for those guys. And then Latifi down in last place. They're a best result all season of P17. It must be so gutted for him, still stuck in that Williams seat. But ultimately, he's not getting those breakthrough results that mean he can be moving up the order as well there. But yeah, a very, very interesting season nonetheless. Definitely my most consistent I think we've had on F1 2020 so far. You know, just that DNF at Singapore really was sort of the only major bad result for us at the end of the day. But as we head, though, into Season 5, depending on how things go, it might be our last season on F1 2020 with this career mode. I'm planning, obviously, I've got some different stuff planned in the works as well. But yeah, there's going to be plenty more content. Don't you guys worry about that. Let me know down in the comments below, obviously, as well as to what you're excited for ready for Season 5. Obviously, if there's some crazy driver transfer you want to see or anything like that as well. But as always, I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support on this series and on the channel as well. You know, 2021 is going to be an interesting year. I've got some cool stuff planned, hopefully, that we're going to be able to make work as well. So obviously, yeah, if you guys aren't already, make sure you do get yourself subscribed as well for, yeah, plenty more content coming to the channel. But thank you all so much for the support on Season 4. It really has been another season to remember. A 3-time Formula 1 World Champion now, but Mercedes are looking strong. Red Bull, maybe see another resurgence from those guys. And yeah, don't miss it. We'll be back in the new year, ready for Season 5. Obviously, as always, we'll kick it off with the driver transfers, and then we will be in Melbourne, Australia, ready for round 1. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.